After I called Nvidia, the number one question I got for 18 months is what's the next Nvidia? That's not my question for you, but
Same.
when when you're looking at the the new sector or new company, what's your process to do the research to find what sector could be the one that takes off next?
All right. So we have this list that we keep internally called the best stocks in the market. And what we're looking for are the stocks that are working right now. And it's not that we don't care about the fundamentals, of course, like everybody does. So we're looking for profitable companies. They've got to be a certain size. It's not that there aren't small good stocks to own. It's just this is not what we're doing right with this particular effort. So they've got to be a certain size. They've got to be profitable, and we want to see the distance from a 52-week high. We want to see whether or not they're in a defined uptrend. Not like my opinion, but like mathematically, is the stock trending higher over a certain period of time? And we're looking at all these things, and we come up with a list of what are currently the best stocks in the market. Now, I can't say these will be the best stocks in the market for the rest of the year because things change. So what
Yeah.
all we can really do is take a snapshot of this moment in time. Where are people making money right now? For me, that's not the end of the process. That's the beginning. This is the number one problem that people have when they get into the stock market. They don't know where to begin. So they turn on TV. Maybe they see me. Maybe they're not so lucky. They see somebody else. But whatever ticker symbols are being talked about that day on the
Yeah.
air, like they think those are the stocks they're supposed to trade. There's no context. So what we do with best stocks to market list, it's a start. It's to say, all right, if you're going to go fishing and you want to catch something, shouldn't you start in a pond that you know is stocked with fish? It's the problem with people is it's not their fault. Nobody teaches anybody this. Why would you start with a random list of stocks that people were talking about on TV or in a magazine that day, or people on Twitter? Like that's your starting point. So
Yeah.
I'm starting with the best stocks in the market. They're profitable. They're big. They're going higher. They're in uptrends. They're in proximity to a 52-week high. They're in the S&P 500. The best. Every week, every Friday, I look at the close. I don't want to get whipsawed every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because the list changes. Stocks fall in, stocks fall back on. If I look every week, 52 times a year on Friday, market closes. Okay, what are the best stocks this week? That's a great starting point for me to spend that weekend, not for a million hours, just like, oh, I never heard of this. Let me find out why it's going up. Think about how many people have the opposite approach. They're looking at the 52-week low list. That's
Yeah.
a
And
really
think,
tough way to make a living. They look at the worst stocks or what are the stocks that are the most controversial and they're being talked about all day. That's not a great starting point either, right? That's how you end up owning Boeing. So what I'm trying to, or Intel, what I'm trying to do is identify those best stocks and then use that as a jumping off point to try to figure out what's going on. And I'll tell you guys a couple things. The first is, let's say the list has 65 names on it on a random Friday. It could be 10 names. It could be 100. This is a function of how the stocks themselves are behaving. Let's say 65 names. If 10 of those 65 names are all consumer staples, there's a lot of information in there. Number one, it tells me defensive names are rallying more than most of the market. Number two, I might stumble upon a company within that sector that people are excited about, and I might learn that catalyst for myself and have a new trade. So that's my starting point. I'm not saying there aren't other ways to do this. I'm saying this is what I know works for me. Here's what I'm saying definitively that I'm not doing. I'm not looking for the cheapest stocks. I'm not looking for what are the lowest valuations. That's just list that there are people that play that game and they're really good at it, and it's nothing wrong with it. I'm not doing that. I'm saying where are investors being rewarded right now? Let me find out why, and then I got to figure out can this continue. This is how I ended up in the trade desk this year. TTD,
yep.
sick chart. This is how I ended up in Reddit, one of the best performing recent IPOs.
Nice.
All of these things, I wasn't focused on them until my list said, Josh, look at this stock, find out what's going on here. And so that's my approach to investing. And look, it's taken me, I don't know, 15, 16 years to, figure that part out to the extent that I have. But I've been doing that for the last few years. And I don't want to go back to any other version of what I was doing now that I'm doing it this way.